A few months ago, I made this ridiculously overcomplicated plant hanger. From a distance, it looks acceptable, almost like I knew what I was doing. But the closer you get, the more it becomes less acceptable. To begin with, it only really looks good with one very specific plant pot. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. It kind of also works with this slightly questionable squarish pot, but if you look any closer, you'll notice the knots are looking pretty messy. And that's not a tension issue or a skill issue, it's the technique I used. So technically, this was doomed from the start. The hanger is also too short. I don't live in a hobbit house, and I'd like my plants to hang low enough to actually get some light. You know, that minor thing plants tend to rely on to survive. So what am I going to do with this plant hanger? Absolutely nothing. Instead, I'm going to make the exact same thing again, while hoping the knots magically behave this time. Because clearly, the best solution to a bad decision is to fully commit and repeat it. I'm starting with 8 cords folded in half, each 5 meters long, attaching them to a metal ring. Why a metal ring? Because I'm too lazy to make a proper knotted hanging loop. Ideally, these cords should be secured with a gathering knot. As per tradition, I will be aggressively strangling the cords while tightening it. This particular hanger requires a lot of cord and an unreasonable number of knots, so I made the executive decision to make the top part as boring as humanly possible, using the infamous alternating half hitch. Infamous not because it's difficult, but because it's so basic that somehow no one recognizes it. All you do is take one, or in this case 2 cords, and make a simple half hitch. Then make another simple half hitch with the opposite 2 cords. That's it! That's the whole mystery! Obviously, I'm working on all 4 sides at the same time, because doing one thing at a time would be far too logical. Also, I get bored easily. If I show the alternating half hitch like this, is it easier to see? Maybe. Is it a better way to actually work? Probably not. If you want to know how many knots I made here, you're in the wrong place. Besides, if you're actually trying to make this, there's a very high chance our tension is not identical. Personally, I'm just knotting until I have about 75 centimeters of cord left. Will that work out? Only time will tell. I got bored of the top section and I decided to work on something else that will actually be useful later. I'm starting with 2 cords, each 1 meter 40 centimeters long, and connecting them with a square knot. Then I will attach 2 more cords, each 1 meter 80 centimeters long. The 1 meter 80 cords are attached to the outer cords using a lark's head knot, followed by a half hitch on each side. Afterwards, I will push the attached cord up and then add another half hitch. Technically, it would become a double half hitch, but I'm not calling it that. See, normal people would add the second color using proper double half hitches. But I don't like that bulky look. So obviously, I've decided to make my life harder trying to figure out a way to do it without the bulk. So far, this little experiment has taken 4 months and 9 projects. If it doesn't work out this time, I'm quitting macrame altogether. You know, the same way I quit macrame every 2 weeks, and then immediately come back like nothing happened.
Dream still reaching for the past. Take me back to the place we knew, where every moment was alive with you. Through the fire, through the endless rain, I would give my soul to feel again. Every heartbeat carries what is true. All my songs will always lead to you. Violins are rising like the tide, a mournful hymn that time could never hide. The cello hums a secret deep and low of every love that we still long to know. The night is dressed in melodies of pain, each note a whisper calling out your name. The strings embrace the silence in my chest, a symphony that never finds its rest. Take me back to the place we knew, where every moment was alive with you. Through the fire, through the endless rain, I would give my soul to feel again. Every heartbeat carries what is true. All my songs will always lead to you. Even when the darkness pulls me down, your memory's the light I found. If time could heal the wounds inside, I'd turn the tide and hold you tight. But fate has carved its final line, leaving only love behind. Take me back to the place we knew, where every heartbeat still belongs to you. Through the fire, through the endless rain, I would give my soul to feel again. Even broken, I will never hide. Your name still burns like flames inside. Through the silence, through the darkest night, your memory will be my light. In the quiet, I still remain.
This cord here will make a triple half hitch. Yes, a triple. That's 3 half hitches in a row, or a double with an extra hitch. I know, it's weird, but it's the only way I found to stop the accent color from disappearing under the main one. So now I'm in a constant battle with myself, trying not to rush through it on autopilot. I'm so used to making double half hitches that my hands just do it automatically, with my brain completely switched off. Well, not completely off. My brain is usually busy reading subtitles for whatever Chinese drama I'm watching, so asking it to suddenly slow down and pay attention to extra half hitches is a bit much. Which means I have to actively remind myself not to skip those annoying little extra knots that show up in the most random places, just waiting to ruin everything if I forget them.
The night is quiet, heavy with regret. trace the roads where all our hearts had met. Your shadow falls across the empty floor, a ghost that lingers knocking at my door. The silence whispers secrets I can't hide, a fragile truth that tears me up inside. And still I walk beneath this endless rain. I'm reaching out, but you are far away. The echoes haunt the words I try to say. My heart still burns, although the flame is gone. I sing your name, but no, I stand alone.
Here, I grab the next orange cord together with the accent color. Then make a double half hitch, not triple, with the main color. This makes the back look cleaner, because obviously I care deeply about parts no one will ever see. Then I will finish it off with one last double half hitch before moving on to repeating this exact same element 7 more times. In total, I need 8 of these little creations, and my hands actively hate every single one of them. Plasters help, slightly, not enough to stop the suffering, just enough to make me feel like I can survive this project.
A hollow morning, nothing left to claim. I walk in circles, searching through the haze. Each step a memory.
If those extra half hitches start looking weird, it's time for more pulling. More tension, more suffering, all in the hope that it somehow hides the ugly knots instead of highlighting them. And if the accent color is trying to disappear, a gentle nudge with a stabby tool usually helps. By gentle, I obviously mean aggressively poking it until it behaves. Back to the top part of this plant hanger. It was supposed to be finished by now, but obviously I gave up somewhere around the 4th section. Commitment is optional. I'll finish it later tonight while watching Veil of Shadows on Netflix, because apparently that's the only way anything gets done around here. I'm adding 1 square knot and then repeating all the actions I've already suffered through on the 8 separate elements.
But no, I stand alone. The tears keep falling, rivers through my hands. A dream of love I cannot understand.
So how did that story go? Adding 2 cords, each 1.8 meters long, with a reverse lark's head knot followed by a half hitch on each side, and then another half hitch. Then comes the accent color, and very weird combination of double and triple half hitches.
I could heal the scars that never fade. I'd trade it all for one more chance we made. But in this world where shadows take their hold, I'm left with silence and a heart grown cold. The song we started keeps me whole. The rain may fall, but still I will remain. A voice unbroken, rising through the pain. And in the silence, love still speaks the same. Forevermore, I whisper out your name. Though time may steal the pieces of my soul, your flame still burns, a fire in the dark. It lights my way stars tonight. I'll be your hope through silver skies. The rhythm beating in your eyes. I love you more with every breath, in every pulse, in every step. I'll hold you close. The world can fade. We're living love in retro shades. I wanna stand with you on a mountain. Feel the night breeze, hear it call our name. I wanna dance with you.
You know what scares me the most with trying to make YouTube tutorials? This morning, I saw someone post a picture of a macrame piece they worked on for whole 2 weeks. They followed a video tutorial by another YouTube creator, but the whole time they worked, they kept making one knot in a wrong way, probably because the creator does not explain each knot separately, slowly, clearly. Why? Because when you film a video for a complicated pattern, you kind of trust that the person watching will be able to judge their own level of skill. When it comes to intermediate or advanced patterns, it is close to impossible to explain every single knot. It would take hours upon hours of filming, refilming, editing, explaining, especially when writing down the instructions. But if the creator does not explain things and trust the viewer to know their knots, there is always a chance someone less experienced will try to attempt the project and fail. The project I was talking about would take me about 5 hours to make. It took the viewer 2 weeks and a lot of effort to recreate following a tutorial. Now, some of the ridiculously overcomplicated plant hangers I've created have taken me 15 and more hours to make, and I actually know what I'm doing. I don't have to watch a video and try to understand each step. So if it takes me 15 hours, how long it would take for someone who has to follow my tutorial? And then they make a mistake. When I say 15 hours of work, those are the hours spent creating the piece, not the extra hours I've wasted taking things apart and redoing the same thing over and over again. I am used to it, it's part of the process. But I know how stressed I was in the past about the hours I wasted doing things wrong, and a beginner might not have learned to love the process yet. Just imagining the frustration someone else would feel when they've wasted possibly weeks, just because I didn't explain one knot clearly enough. Yes, it's their fault for attempting a project way above their skill level. That's why I used to put warnings wherever I could, saying my projects are not for beginners. And if you fail, I take zero responsibility. And yet, people still blame me, and I feel horrible for the mistakes they made. Now, every time I make a video, I'm torn between wanting to show everything clearly and slowly for those who need it, and just showing the basic idea for those who don't need any hand-holding. The people my channel was originally made for. I wanted to create advanced level tutorials for those who are already past the beginner stage, and just want something more challenging. Because there was a point in my own learning where I got frustrated with not being able to find anything interesting to make, since YouTube is full of very basic beginner content. So if you're wondering why the comment section has left the building, it's simply because I want to film what I make, not turn everything into a step-by-step tutorial. I just want to show the process without worrying about someone getting upset because their project failed after assuming this was another beginner-friendly video with clear instructions and lots of guidance. I don't have the energy to create detailed, easy-to-follow tutorials anymore. I've tried. Maybe I even succeeded a few times. But at what cost? I can't afford to lose my sanity over some string. And that's where I'm leaving this topic.
The river carries all the words we lost. Each wave a memory, each tide a cause. The mountains echo with your fading song. A whisper tells me where I still belong. shadows lead. Guide me through the forest of the rain, where every branch still calls your name. I'm falling in the fire of the sky, yet every ember keeps your spirit alive. My soul is drowning in the endless sea, but waves return you back to me. 1,000 storms may tear the earth apart, but roots of love still anchor in my heart. The autumn fields are painted with light, your light. The stars are trembling in the arms of night. A fragile flower blooming through the storm. It holds a truth that I am not alone. The wind remembers what we said. It sings your name where I once bled. I follow where the shadows lead. Guide me through the forest of the rain, where every branch still calls your name. I'm falling in the fire of the sky, yet every ember keeps your spirit alive. My soul is drowning in the endless sea, but waves return you back to me. 1,000 storms may tear the earth apart, but roots of love still anchor in my heart. Rivers cross could carry me to you. Would mountains move and let the light shine through? Or would we vanish like the morning dew? A fleeting dream the earth once knew. Raise me higher where the oceans kiss the flame. Through shattered skies I still will call your name. The thunder roars but love will never drown. The earth will break yet still it holds us down. The stars are burning but I will not hide. Your voice is light and cutting through the night. The world may fall but I will always see the truth of nature brings you back to me. And when the forest learns to breathe again, I'll find you waiting at the river's bend. The fading glow of twilight stays. I search for you through endless haze. This house is filled with hollow sound, where echoes tremble, breaking down. There's something shadows can't disguise. Your presence lingers in the breeze, like fragile songs the night won't leave. Do you want it to? When the darkness starts to rise, can you hear the storm when it hides behind your eyes? I've been reaching, barely standing in the place you used to be. If the silence pulls you closer than this when the darkness starts to rise. Can you hear the storm when it hides behind your eyes? I've been reaching, barely standing in the place you used to be. If the silence pulls you closer, then this soul still waits for me. This soul still waits for me. The night is quiet, heavy with regret. I trace the roads where all our hearts had met. Your shadow falls across the empty floor, a ghost that lingers knocking at my door. The silence whispers secrets I can't hide, a fragile truth that tears me up inside. And still I walk beneath this endless rain. I'm reaching out, but you are far away. The echoes haunt the words I try to say. My heart still burns, although the flame is gone. I sing your name, but know I stand alone. The tears keep falling, rivers through my hands. A dream of love I cannot understand. Yet in the dark, your memory remains, a fragile flame that nothing can contain. The dawn awakens, but it feels the same. A hollow morning, nothing left to claim. I walk in circles, searching through the haze. Each step a memory I can't erase. The world keeps moving, but I
For an easier life, I could just repeat the previous step over and over again, especially if I had already attached all the elements together. You know, like I did in that questionable Celtic knot plant hanger tutorial, link in the description. But no, I have this weird addiction to long rows of double half hitches, so before repeating that step, I'm going to add a few more knots, just to give myself 2 extra cords to hitch onto here, because clearly simplicity is not the goal.
The echoes haunt the words I try to say. My heart still burns, although the flame is gone. I sing your name, but know I stand alone. The tears keep falling, rivers through my hands. A dream of love I cannot understand. Yet in the dark, your memory remains, a fragile flame that nothing nothing can contain.
See, now I can add 2 more cords to the same double half hitch row right away. There is nothing more satisfying than a long hitch row. Just a little note, the last cord will make a triple half hitch, not a double.
But in this world where shadows take their hold, I'm left with silence and a heart grown cold. The song we started keeps me whole. The rain may fall, but still I will remain a voice unbroken, rising through the pain. And in the silence, love still speaks the same. Forevermore I whisper out your name, though time may steal the pieces of my soul. Your flame still burns, a fire in the dark. It lights my way and heals my broken heart. I'll be your dream in neon light, your wish beneath the stars tonight. I'll be your hope through silver skies, the rhythm beating in your eyes. I love you more with every breath, in every pulse, in every step. I'll hold you close, the world can fade. We're living love in retro shades. I wanna stand with you on a mountain, feel the night breeze, hear it call our name. I wanna dance with you in the ocean till the dawnlight burns away the pain. A cassette spins, our song begins. The future fades, the past begins. I'm counting on a new sunrise, reflected deep in your blue eyes. A reason for living, a spark in the dark. We're lost in forever, a flame in the heart. And when the stars begin to glow, I'll whisper soft, I'll never let you go. I wanna stand with you on a mountain, feel the echoes of eternity. I wanna swim with you in the moonlight till the sky falls down on you and me. Oh, can fantasy, lost in time, just you and me. Truly, madly, deeply true, forever stars with me and you.
Now I've arrived at the point where my brain is officially taking a vacation. I'm going to make triple half hitches with the next 3 cords, even though I technically don't need to. 2 cords would have been enough. The issue is that 3mm cord is a suggestion, not a guarantee. Every roll has its own personality, thickness, and commitment to chaos. And if I were using a different cord for the accent color, I definitely need to add more half hitches. So the real question is, to add or not to add? The answer is simple. If rows on both sides connect neatly at the bottom without the accent color disappearing, the knot count is fine. If the bottom looks weirdly squished together, then you add another half hitch and pretend that was the plan all along. Simple system, emotionally unstable execution.
Remembers what we said. It sings your name where I once bled. I follow where the shadows lead. Got me through the forest of the rain, where every branch still calls your name. I'm falling in the fire of the sky, yet every ember keeps your spirit alive. My soul is drowning in the endless sea, but waves return you back to me. 1,000 storms may tear the earth apart, but roots of love still anchor in my heart. The autumn fields are painted with your light. The stars are trembling in the arms of night. A fragile flower blooming through the storm. It holds a truth that I am not alone. The wind remembers what we said. It sings your name where I once bled. I follow where the shadows lead. Guide me through the forest of the rain, where every branch still calls your name. I'm falling in the fire of the sky, yet every ember keeps your spirit alive. My soul is drowning in the endless sea, but waves return you back to me. 1,000 storms may tear the earth apart, but roots of love still anchor in my heart. If rivers cross could carry me to you, would mountains move and let the light shine through? Or would we vanish like the morning dew? A fleeting dream the earth once knew. Raise me higher where the oceans kiss the flame. Through will break it, still it holds us down. The stars are burning, but I will not hide. Your voice is light and cutting through the night. The world may fall, but I will always see the truth of nature brings you back to me.
Now I'm going to hunt down 4 cords at the very bottom of each section and make 5 alternating half-hitch knots with each pair of cords.
I'll find you waiting at the river's bend. The fading glow of twilight stays. I search for you through endless haze. This house is filled with hollow sound, where echoes tremble, breaking down. There's something shadows can't disguise. Your presence lingers in the breeze, like fragile songs the night won't leave. Do you want it to? When the darkness starts to rise, can you hear the storm when it hides behind?
I don't really think anyone needs another 2-hour video, and my hands have already started a support group for their trauma. I will film part 2 and throw the link in description once my skin has fully recovered. Or once I've finished watching gorgeous people in 10 pounds of silk stare at each other for unreasonable amounts of time. Place your bets on which comes first.